everybody, I'm Anchal Jain. I welcome you all to the YouTube channel of Delhi Institute for Civil Services, DICS. The topic that we're going to discuss today is the G20 presidency that India has got. Let's talk about G20 first. G20 is a multilateral intergovernmental forum. The group of the 20 or the G20, the member countries are mentioned here. Should you learn the G20 member countries? Absolutely yes. There has been a question before in 2020 UPSC CSE prelims where they had asked about the members of G20, hence you should be learning the member countries. There are total 19 countries in G20 plus European Union, that makes it G20, the group of 20, which is 19 countries and one European Union. It was founded in 1999. So after the Asian financial crisis, also if you want me to make a video on the Asian financial crisis, do leave a comment in the comment section below if you want us to make a video on Asian financial crisis specifically, and we shall do that for you. For now, after the 1999 Asian financial crisis, we wanted to sort out strategies and discuss how to sort the finances for all the countries that have got badly affected by the financial crisis. So to discuss the financial and economic issues, we formed a forum called the G20. The G20 presidency, now when you talk about the G20 presidency, when we say India has got the G20 presidency, what do we mean by that? So the G20 presidency, it actually decides, whoever gets the presidency will decide कि उस साल का एजेंडा क्या होगा, what will G20 actually focus on, or what will be the agenda for G20, right? So this agenda is set for 1 year and the country who is having the presidency will decide कि उस साल का G20 का agenda क्या होगा, right? So now this consists, now G20 presidency will also host the G20 presidency, right? The G20 presidency will also host the summit, the G20 summit. Now the G20 will consist of two parallel tracks. One will be the finance track and the other will be the Sherpa track. So the Sherpa track will be led by the Sherpas, and the finance track, the other track that will be led by the finance ministers and the central governors. So you basically have two tracks. Now when you talk about G20 presidency, we took over the presidency on the 1st December 2022, right? Also, we will be hosting, as a part of the presidency, we are going to be hosting 200 meetings in 32 different sectors, and that will be across the places, various places in this country. Also, the G20 theme. So now if you talk about the theme of the G20, because it was India specific and we were supposed to get the presidency, the theme was Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, जो महा उपनिषद से लिया गया है. The one earth, one family, one future, that is taken from Maha Upanishad, right? So that is going to be the focus of India's G20 presidency. One Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or there is one world, one future, one family, right? So that is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. India is going to be working on just one world and not the first world or the second world or the third world countries, right? So currently when you talk about the developed countries, they are the first world countries, and when you talk about the underdeveloped or developing countries, you talk about the third world countries. So what we are trying to do, हम जो करना चाह रहे हैं, हम ये करना चाहते हैं, we want to ensure that there is only one world, not first or third world. There will be only one world. So equity basically, right? Also, the theme that G20 has is to envision or pursue a common goal, that is a better future. Common goals, better future together, right? That is what the vision for the G20 presidency with respect to India is going to be, right? Now what is the importance of having G20 presidency for India? How is it important for India? First, it is a special opportunity. Why for India? Because now we will be able to contribute to the global agenda or to the global issues. We will be able to contribute better, right, to all the issues that are of significance, right? Also that we have excellent ideas, excellent vision, and excellent methods via which we can actually solve a lot of issues, right, or at least help or contribute in the solving of a lot of issues. So that's what we want to do, right? That's one. Number two, how is G20 important? We've got the presidency of not any other random forum but G20 now. Mind you, G20 has 19 countries plus European Union. This together accounts for 75% of the global trade, 85% of the global GDP. That is humongous, and also 2/3 of the world population. Now just imagine the two most populous countries, that is India and China, they're a part of G20, right? So basically 2/3 of the global population is a part of G20, which this is what you're catering to, the mass, the magnanimity of the region. Also, Modi ji had said that this is an opportunity for India to share its expertise, that like for example it is an opportunity for India to share our expertise in the areas of women empowerment, digital technologies, or cybercrime, or for example cybersecurity or democracy, etc. So a lot of emerging issues we can address, and we have expertise in that. That's what our PM Modi ji had to say. Now next, also during India's presidency, now Troika, who is going to be a part of the G20 Troika? It is going to be Indonesia and Brazil, and this is going to be the first time when the Troika has only the developing countries. So Indonesia, Brazil and India, we are going to be the G20 Troika, right? ऐसा पहले कभी नहीं हुआ कि all the three in the Troika are developing countries. That is to give weightage and importance to the developing and emerging economies. Also, the increasing importance of G20, where G20 is of utmost importance when you talk about establishing peace in the region or in the world. Why? Because the magnanimity and the representation of different areas or of different continents in the region, right? So when you talk about Russia-Ukraine crisis, or when you talk about COVID-19, how to deal with these urgent pressing issues, the best forum to go to is G20, right? That is another thing. For India, G20 presidency will also mark the beginning of the Amrit Kal. So why Amrit Kal? Because 75th year of independence से लेकर अगले 25 साल, so when we reach our centenary, the next 25 years is going to be the Amrit Kal when we reach our centenary, and that starts from now, right? So that now, what are India's priorities for the G20 presidency going to be? Number one, green development. We are talking about green development, we are talking about climate finance, we are talking about life and sustainable life in general. Two, that when we talked about sustainable development goals, now we are talking about achieving those sustainable development goals and actually doing more than what the SDGs demand. That's number two. Number three, we are focusing on women-led development. So when you talk about India and the priorities of India and the presidency that we've got, how do we want to use the presidency? We want to make sure that we empower women and lay enough emphasis on the contribution of women in making the world a better place to live, right? So the development, but kaisa development? Women-led development. Apart from that, we're talking about technological transfer, we're talking about digital public infrastructure, because we know technology is the tomorrow and technology is going to be the leader, right? It is everything is technology. So now we also want to focus 100% on technology and technological transfer as well, right? Apart from that, we are also talking about inclusive growth. So growth that has everybody included, so development or growth holistically for everybody, not based on class or caste or religion or race, but for everybody, so inclusive. Number two, we want to be resilient. So we want a sustainable, consistent growth. That is what is resilient, right? And accelerated, that we have to work in a time-bound manner, in an accelerated format or in an accelerated way, so that we get results on time, right? So this is what India is going to be focused upon. This was all about the importance of G20 presidency for India, what a proud moment it was, and what should be the theme, what would be the agenda for India for the next 1 year. And we talked about G20 Troika and the Sherpa track, the finance track. If you want me to make videos on any other topic that you feel is difficult for you to understand, do leave a comment in the comment section below, and I shall be happy to cater to your needs, right? Thank you so much. Have a good day.